We live in a world that is absolutely obsessed with being known, right? It's all about the follower counts, the fame, being number one. But here's the paradox. So many of us feel more invisible and, honestly, more empty than ever before. So in this explainer, we're going to tear that all down. We're going to look at why chasing fame is really just a trap and explore a much more fulfilling path, what I like to call the architecture of true greatness. And it all kicks off with a story. I want you to picture a guy who has literally everything the world tells you to want. He's the CEO of a $2 trillion fund, pulling in over $100 million a year. But one day, after a pretty simple argument with his 10-year-old daughter, she just quietly hands him this note. And on it is a list of 22 moments, birthdays, school plays, just simple afternoons that he just wasn't there for.
The very next day, he walked in and resigned. This story, wow, it just perfectly captures this hidden opportunity cost of chasing all that external success. We get told over and over that being known is what gives us value. But so often, the price we pay is the very thing that makes life actually worth living in the first place. And this really frames the core problem perfectly. See, we're all playing a game, whether we know it or not. But most of us, we're playing the wrong one. Fame, that's a finite game. It has a clear finish line. And for someone to win, someone else has to lose. But greatness, that's an infinite game. The whole point isn't to beat anyone else. It's just to become a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. It's about what you give, not what you get.
Okay, so if the infinite game is so much more fulfilling, why is our entire culture completely hooked on the finite game of fame and validation? I mean, what's going on?
Well, the answer is actually biological.
Every single time you get a like or a new follower, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine. It's often called the selfish chemical because, yeah, it feels good, but it's incredibly addictive and it's designed to make you want more and more and more. It's the fleeting chemical of getting, built for a short-term reward, and it often comes at the direct expense of our real-world relationships.
But then you've got these two, serotonin and oxytocin. Think of these as the leadership chemicals, the chemicals of giving, and they provide this deep, lasting fulfillment that dopamine just can't even touch. Serotonin, that's the feeling of pride you get when you see someone else succeed because you helped them. And oxytocin, that's the big one. That's trust, that's love. You get it from acts of pure generosity, giving your time, your energy, with zero expectation of getting anything back.
So, if dopamine is what keeps us trapped in that finite game, how do we intentionally start cultivating the chemicals of the infinite game? Well, the answer is in a huge shift of focus, from getting to giving. We have to completely change our thinking. See, true, lasting greatness isn't about being famous. Fame fades away. Greatness is about being unforgettable. And you become unforgettable not by what you get, but by the significance you bring to other people through service.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Let me tell you about a barista named Noah at the Four Seasons. Noah wasn't famous, he didn't have a million followers, but he was, in the words of people who met him, flat out fantastic. And why? Because he loved what he did, he felt supported by his team, and he used his job to make every single person he served feel truly seen. That is greatness in action. Okay, so we get it. We see the difference now between fame and greatness. But just knowing something, that isn't enough, is it? If greatness is an infinite game, if it's a daily practice, then how in the world do we actually start playing it? All right, the path to greatness can really be broken down into 3 core practices. First, we have to eliminate the noise, both external and internal. Second, we have to actively practice the kind of character we want to embody. And third, and this is a big one, we have to learn to negotiate with ourselves for the long haul. Let's dig into each of these.
So, practice number 1 is a little counterintuitive. We tend to think that finding ourselves is about adding more things, more hobbies, more friends, more awards. But true identity, it's actually a process of elimination. It's about figuring out who you are not. It's about looking at the things that just don't feel right, the things that antagonize your character, and deciding to stop giving them your time and energy. You got to decrease all that noise to finally hear your own heart.
This quote just perfectly captures the essence of the second practice. Character isn't something you're just born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, every single day. If you want to be an honest person, you have to practice honesty. If you want to be a hard worker, you have to practice putting in the effort. It really requires doing the tough things today that other people aren't willing to do so that you can build a future that others simply can't. And finally, the third practice is all about sustainability.
I mean, how many of us create these schedules for ourselves that feel like a bloody prison, and then we wonder why we burn out? You have to stop being your own tyrant. You have to negotiate with yourself. If you need a break, you schedule it. The goal here is to build a daily life that actually justifies the massive effort you're putting in. And underneath all of this is a really powerful shift in perspective. We have to stop the constant psychological drama in our heads, the worrying about what people think, the replaying of mistakes. And the fastest way to do that is to remember that you are mortal. You are a brief pop-up on this planet. And when you truly get that on a gut level, you realize you have absolutely no time for things you don't care about.
So with that in mind, here is a direct challenge for you. I want you to perform a mindfulness audit. It's super simple. Just sit in intentional silence for 5 minutes. That's it. No phone, notifications, no music, no noise, just you and your thoughts. And in that silence, I want you to ask yourself this question. What is your just cause? What is that vision of the future that is so compelling, so important to you, that you are genuinely willing to sacrifice for it? This, right here, is the core of playing the infinite game.
And that leads us right here to our final and maybe most crucial question. It all starts with elimination, remember? So, what is the one thing you will stop doing starting today to make room for your own greatness? Is it a habit? Is it a toxic relationship? A story of failure you keep telling yourself? The game of greatness starts right now.